but we apologize. As a follow-up to our February hearing, we are again going to attempt to examine what progress the FAA has made in implementing the Modernization and Reform Act that was signed into law on February 14th of 2012. The Reform Act was passed after 5 excruciating years of short-term extensions, but it created a stable 4-year framework for the FAA, industry, and other stakeholders. The Act makes important reforms to the aviation system and to the FAA in order to increase efficiency and modernize the system. It ensures that we maintain a safe, modern, and efficient civil aviation system for now and into the future. Ensuring implementation of the FAA reauthorization is and will remain a top priority of the subcommittee. NEXTGEN is a central part of the reform law. I'm extremely fortunate to represent New Jersey's 2nd Congressional District, which happens to include the FAA's premier technical center. So I've seen firsthand the work that goes on there, and I've been able to learn more about why NEXTGEN is important to the FAA, the aviation industry, and the traveling public. What has become clear is that we must attempt to do more, we must do more to provide certainty for the FAA and the stakeholders, which is why the Reform Act requires the FAA to appoint a chief NEXTGEN officer for a term of 5 years. This is going to help with the technology and accelerates deployment of the performance-based navigation procedures for large, medium, and small airports. The Reform Act also requires the FAA to include FAA employees, such as air traffic controllers, in the modernization process, and requires the FAA, with input from the industry, to identify operational incentives to encourage the aviation industry to equip with necessary avionics. The FAA is making progress with some of these efforts, and I want to thank Administrator Huerta for his efforts, but we know that we still have a long ways to go together. Since the subcommittee's last hearing, the Aviation Subcommittee has held the first in a series of listening sessions that are broadly focused on implementation of NEXTGEN. We were able to hear from industry stakeholders about various issues of concern in the implementation of NEXTGEN air traffic control procedures. Next week, we're holding a second NEXTGEN listening session. This will give the subcommittee an opportunity to hear from the FAA and industry stakeholders in a less formal setting. We, of course, intend to use what we learn in the listening sessions to help us, industry, and FAA achieve near-term, real-world benefits, measurable benefits from NEXTGEN. Today, I look forward to hearing from Administrator Huerta what the plan is for the FAA to fully implement the Reform Act. In particular, I'm interested in learning how the FAA is complying with the various safety, modernization, reform, and good governance provisions included into law. The FAA has had some successes in implementing the Act. However, similar to NEXTGEN, the FAA has also faced some challenges and is behind on some of its deadlines. Administrator Huerta will testify that the FAA is on track to meet or has met 80% of the deliverables, including the FAA reauthorization law, and has currently completed half of them. But I think, Mr. Huerta, even you would agree that not all of the reauthorization requirements are created equal. The FAA has yet to complete some of the most important and challenging requirements of the law, including the Unmanned Aircraft System, UAS, integration plan to allow for safe integration of UASs by 2015, the small UAS rulemaking, the facility realignment and consolidation plan, and reforming and streamlining certification processes. Completion of these requirements are delayed, and I look forward to hearing from Administrator Huerta on what we can expect, when we can expect to see more progress, and what we may be able to do to help be a force multiplier for you. Before we turn to Administrator Huerta for a statement, I'd like to ask unanimous consent that all members have 5 legislative days to revise and extend their remarks and include extraneous material for the record of this hearing. Without objection, so ordered. I now would like to yield to Mr. Larson for any statement you